Right peeps, so here we have it. This is the GSXR 1100W crankshaft. This is a lovely crank, super clean, lovely crank. And as you can see, this is the top crankcase with the gearbox, and this is the bottom crankcase. And also I have removed all the bearings. Right, so the bearings are removed. I packed the old RF900 crankshaft with the bearings in the bag, and now I've got the bearings from the GSXR and the crankshaft here. So I'm going to be installing all the bearings, and then I'm going to put the crank in and we'll check the clearances. So here we have two types of bearings. As you can see, one has a hole in it. Can you see this hole there? There we go. And the other one has not. So the deal is, the one with the hole goes in the bottom crankcase and the one without a hole goes in the top crankcase. Alright, let's now do the same with the other crankcase. I've already swapped the bearings, as you could see, so all the bearings are swapped. Those are the bearings that came with this crankshaft. And I'm going to be using plastic gauge to measure the clearances, and I'm hoping I'm going to be within tolerance. So according to service manual, the tolerances should be between 20 and 44 thou. So hopefully it's going to be within that specification. To check that, I'm going to be using grey plastic gauge, and as you can see, the specs for that are here. So this is good for from 18 thou to 44 thou millimeters, that is. So yeah, I'm going to put this on, and what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to remove the gearbox, because to measure the clearances I'm going to have to put the bottom crankcase on top of the top crankcase. So considering the selector forks are still here and the gearbox in the engine, that would be rather difficult, and I'm just trying to put it on, measure it and call it a day. So the gearbox will be removed. Alright, so now I'm going to load this crankshaft in there. Alright peeps, so have a look at this. I'm not sure if this camera will catch it, but I do have plastic gauge on the journals. So can you see those red strips? So there we go, that's what we've got here. Okay, so this is the first one, second, third, fourth, there we go, fifth, and the last one, sixth. What's got to happen is I need to join the cases and crush them, and then we're gonna torque the cases with the bolts, and then we're gonna split them and measure it. The cases are joined. Now I'm gonna bolt them up using the main bolts. Those little ones wouldn't be required, and then we'll see what's going to be the measurement. I've now torqued those bolts here in a sequence, starting from the middle, going outwards. First stage was 13 Newton meters and second stage was 26 Newton meters. So now plastic gauge is nicely crushed, and now is the reverse process. So we take all the bolts out, remove the cases, and we make the measurements. Okay, so let's try to get those cases off. Okay, so here we have it, my plastic gauge measuring strip. The clearances go from 45 to 18 thou millimeters, that is, on this particular strip. And let's have a look what clearances we've got. So here we've got 40 thou on that crushed plastic gauge. Here again we've got 35 thou, and again we've got 40 thou. I didn't show all of them, but they were all the same pretty much, so all within specs, and I think the service limit was 60 thou. So this is it for that episode. In the next one, I'm going to concentrate on replacing bearings in the 6-speed transmission that I'm going to use for this build. So thanks for watching. Until next time.